Listen, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I've came to the conclusion that one of the bravest things you can ever do for yourself is to speak up for yourself. I truly believe that. And after you hear today's episode, I think you'll see why. What's poppin', everyone? I'm LaPorsche, and welcome to Up and Out. Today, we are speaking on a topic that is a lot more serious: sexual violence. This has been a big topic over the last few years and over the past week in light of the recent trials. Well, I spoke with Angela Rose, who is the founder of sexual assault survivors group PAVE, which stands for Promoting Awareness and Victim Empowerment, and survivors.org. And we definitely went on a journey, y'all, of pain, survival, overcoming, and even how you can help. Take a listen. All right, Angela Rose, thank you so much for speaking with me today. Now, let's get right to it. Tell me what prompted you to start PAVE.
Sure. So I've been in this movement now for over 2 decades out of my own experience, actually. I was kidnapped from a shopping mall when I was 17, but most of the time it's somebody that we know and we trust, though mine was a stranger assault. But most of the time it's somebody that's known to us. 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are impacted by sexual assault or sexual trauma. So really, all of your viewers, everybody listening, you know somebody who's been impacted by these issues.
Oh my gosh, for sure. That kind of rocked me to hear you just say that you were kidnapped from a shopping mall. So, I see that you are really good with your statistics. What is the most overlooked sexual assault group as a whole? Would you say like Black women, LGBTQIA, women as a whole? Which one is it?
Well, we look at a lot of intersectionality. There's so many reasons why there's so groups that barriers to reporting, barriers to seeking services, cultural barriers. So it's really important that we look at this holistically. So we have a whole wing of PAVE that's dedicated to the LGBTQ plus communities, as well as communities of color, even the Amish community. There's a lot of sexual abuse that happens in those communities as well. So we have to look at this as a national movement with the lens of inclusivity and intersectionality.
Now, I see that you said that you have like a specific focus or a specific page for LGBTQIA. Can you just tell me a little bit about that for my audience in particular?
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually building out what's called survivors.org. So it is the nation's leading hub to connect for communities and resources. So it's in the works and it's going to be launched soon. But what we have is a whole community dedicated to survivors in the LGBTQ plus communities so they can come together because healing happens in community. And I feel from my own personal experience too, we know that survivors want to interact and gain support and even heal with folks that they can resonate with, that kind of share their journey and their experience in some ways. So we're really excited about that, and we do a lot of work on our social media as well to raise awareness and to talk about these issues within the LGBTQ plus communities. And our handle is PAVE Info if you want to find us on Instagram.
I love that. Now, I if you are comfortable, I would love to hear more about your personal story and how that led to you really saying, "Oh my gosh, this can happen to anyone," especially at the age of 17. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I should have started with a trigger warning in the beginning. So just activation warning. I never go into details, but undoubtedly there's going to be viewers who've experienced this. So I always like to start by saying that this is a safe space that we're creating for you and that it is not your fault, whatever you've been through. I think a lot of survivors, we feel like it's our fault. But for me, I was leaving my job at a shopping mall where I was abducted. And when I went down to report, when he finally let me go, no one believed me. When I went down to the police station, the detective accused me of lying. So I just had felt all these feelings that were just made so much more. I was just re-traumatized basically in the reporting process. And that's true for so many survivors. And that's why sexual assault is the most underreported crime. Now it's getting better. And we do a lot of training for law enforcement on a proper trauma informed response and also to start by believing survivors. But in my case, it turned out the man who abducted me was actually on parole for murdering a 15-year-old girl. And thankfully, I became very good friends with the mother and the sister of this young woman. And that really helped me found PAVE, because out of this experience, her name was Julie Angel. And I truly feel like she, was such an angel on this journey. And having her mom and her sister support me through this. We changed laws in Illinois when I was a teenager, and it was really empowering to feel like people have the power to make a difference when they want to. And now this was back in 1996, so this was a lifetime ago, it seems, but very few people were talking about sexual assault at that time. And, what happened, I found so interesting, was that there were so many male survivors and so many different gender identities that were disclosing to me as a teenager that they had been through this. So when I started PAVE at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, we partnered very closely with the LGBT Center on campus. We partnered closely with the Multicultural Student Center. This was back in 2001 when I founded PAVE as a student organization, and it just grew from there. I moved to DC, did a lot of work with Congress and the White House, and it's been a journey. But it's important for everybody to know that you all can get involved to make a difference in your community.
Wow. I mean, literally, wow. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that everything happens for a reason. And clearly, there's no telling just how many lives you've saved, how much awareness you've brought. And the fact that her name was Julie Angel, I do not listen. As someone who just recently lost their sister, I can say, like, I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to that. The fact that you're referencing the fact that, oh, I feel like she's been an angel along with my journey, you're doing it for the both of y'all. So kudos to you for even having the courage to like continue to keep going, even when, law enforcement was saying, oh, you're just another lying teenager. That takes a lot, because a lot of the times I know a lot of women that have been sexually assaulted, raped, you name it, in family, out of family, college campuses. And a lot of people really only have that one time to tell you in them before you start protecting your own mind and trying to say, okay, let's just move on. Nobody's going to believe me anyway. And you just keep going. What is some advice you would give to all different types of populations when it comes to that hard moment when you realize what just happened? And you're like, what do I do now? And how do I find the courage to do it?
Oh, so many great nuggets. And thank you for sharing about your sister. I think, loss is so important for us to talk about. And I will say that the first person that a survivor tells, if they react well, that's greatly going to impact that survivor's healing process. So I do encourage people to talk about it. And even if it's not on a public stage or even to a therapist, find a way to shatter the silence. Maybe it's through art, maybe it's through music. Every month we have a free healing circle where we have a lot of trauma-informed writing prompts to process, because when you keep it in, that's when we see so much of the disordered eating, the alcohol and drug misuse. And September is National Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. And there is a lot of suicidal thoughts and ideation that we've seen from countless survivors, especially because of that lack of support. And so it is so important. Even well-meaning loved ones that are well-meaning oftentimes don't know what to say. So that's a big part of PAVE's work, is educating families and loved ones, friends, on what to say or do if somebody discloses. And the most important thing you can do is just to believe them, reassure them that it wasn't their fault, and offer them local resources, and just be a listening ear. That's all I really wanted, was for, I had an amazing support network for my family, thankfully, that a lot of survivors don't have. And that's why I've been able to do this work.
Angela, you were amazing. Tune in tomorrow for part 2. I speak with her about the Danny Masterson case and so much more, because you better believe my girl is working on some things. She's out here changing laws and empowering the youth and so much more. On a serious note, if you or anyone you know has been impacted by sexual assault and needs to speak with someone, please call the National Sexual Assault Hotline number. That is 1-800-656-4673. Again, that is 1-800-656-4673. Thank you so much for joining me today. See you all tomorrow, girls.